Hey everybody, Tuesday Acres here. So this is my list of 10 absolute must-have items when starting up a homestead. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, so first up is a basic set of hand tools, all right? Wrenches, sockets, ratchets, needle nose, cutoffs, pliers, crescent wrenches, channel locks, screwdrivers, hammer. You know, you can get the majority of this in a single kit from any of the box stores. Doesn't matter the brand. Let's just be realistic. You know, we're usually on a budget doing this, right? Trying to save a little bit of money, and you need to know how to take care of your homestead. The whole point of homesteading is to be self-reliant, right? So you need to be able to, you know, fix doors, fix leaky faucets, you know, fix your steps or your deck or the chicken coop or whatever it is. So a basic set of hand tools goes a long way. You can fix a lot of stuff on your car with just a basic set too. Next over, a drill driver and an impact driver. All right, so just regular drill and an impact driver. This honestly is probably my most used tool, period, bar none. I use it for electrical, I use it for automotive, I use it for woodworking, I use it for outdoor stuff, I use it for the deck, I use it for everything. It's so versatile. They make adapters that you can put sockets in there, you know, just like regular sockets. Everything. It literally, almost every project I do involves this guy one way or another. Doesn't have to be DeWalt, you know, Ryobi, Rigid, Steel, Skill, Milwaukee, there's Hitachi, Metabo, any of them are just fine, all right? They'll all do the trick just fine. You can spend more or less. I've even read reviews lately, read and watched YouTube videos on the Harbor Freight brands. The Hercules is now like the most compact, most powerful one out there for a third of the price of this DeWalt. As far as longevity, who knows yet? It's too early for that. I have noticed that, you know, that whole buy once, cry once thing, you know, DeWalt, Milwaukee, Rigid, you know, your higher end brands do last. My first one of these I still have. It's, I don't know, over 10 years old now, and it still works just fine. So next up, flashlights, all right? You know, whether it's a big mag like this, a little mag light, a headlamp, you know, I've got a pretty decent selection of flashlights by now, but, you know, just a basic mag light, Streamlight is another really popular brand. Milwaukee's come a long way in the last 3 to 5 years. They're making some pretty nice little pen lights and headlamps, and go with the LED, all right? They last forever. Like this little Nebo brand headlamp, I can't believe how long it lasts and how bright it is. That's the turbo, you know, I'll get about 30 minutes out of the turbo. But the regular, the dimmer version of it, mode of it, I can be under the car doing whatever outside at night for a solid hour and a half, 2 hours before it needs charging. And it usually only takes about an hour to get a full charge. I actually just ordered another one of these because I like it so much. Super small, super lightweight. But there's, you know, a million of these out there. And this is only 25 bucks on Amazon right here. Next up is a blade, all right? Knife, any sort of knife, you know, this one's obviously very specific, but just a good multi-blade would do you fine. I can't tell you how many times. Yeah, I carry a pocket knife, I carry my Leatherman. I don't carry like an EDC, you know, like a lot of guys do these days, whether it's a Spider, you know, Spyderco, whatever brand. I've been carrying this Victorinox multi-tool, I think it's called a Swiss tool, for a long time. I love it. It's sort of needle, it's like halfway between needle nose and regular pliers. It's comfortable. All of the tools are accessible from the outside and they lock, which I really like. I can't stand Gerber because you actually have to open them up to get the tools out, generally speaking. Actually, you have to slide the pliers out first. Leatherman I really like, but a lot of the Leathermans, I have the Leatherman Wave too, but that one you have to, you know, you get your 2 fixed blades and a file and one other thing on the outside, and they all lock. But then to get to anything else, the screwdrivers, which I use constantly, the Phillips and the flatheads, I'm constantly pulling this guy out to do, you know, fix a door, do this, do that. That's what I carry. I don't carry a regular blade, or only a blade. Next up is shears. Yeah, I didn't even think about this. This is Mrs. H's idea here. She keeps a pair of shears in the goat barn. She uses them all the time. You know, she's constantly tying stuff up, whether it's, you know, a tarp here or mending a fence. Who knows? You know, but I think she has a pair of my old tin snips out there. But having a good pair of shears, you know, if you've never seen these or used these are called trauma shears. You can cut pennies in half with these things. They're really impressive. I don't really use them that often. I personally don't even use shears that often, but she said she uses them all the time. That's why they made the list, because they're a very versatile tool. You know, don't get a piece of junk Harbor Freight set of shears. They're gonna break almost immediately, or they're gonna get dull immediately. This is an older set of Fiskars, just utility shears, you know, like for around the kitchen, stuff like that around the house. They're pretty stout, pretty tough. They're made in the US, so something quality, and they don't cost a ton. You know, you don't have to break the bank to get okay tools. Next up, because I happen to be on this side of the bench, decent yard tools, all right? Again, you don't have to be top of the line, most expensive one, but I will tell you about this Razorback shovel from, I think it was Home Depot, whatever. This is easily my favorite shovel. And if you're doing a homestead, you're gonna be doing yard work, period. Whether it's maybe not yard specific, but you know, digging and filling and backhoeing and gardening, and you know, a pitchfork is invaluable for pitching the stalls and cleaning out the chicken coop, crap like that, hoeing up the garden. I prefer the tined hose because we have rocks here, lots and lots and lots and lots of rocks, and this helps me pull just the rock and not all the dirt with it. So tine hoe. But you know, regular leaf rakes and dirt rakes, you know, everything. You're gonna need a set of yard tools. You're gonna be using them all the time, you know, all the time. You know, every time we go to auctions quite a bit, I know I've said it before, I'm constantly picking up more, like probably got 4 or 5 pitchforks now. We didn't even have one for the first 2 years, and it was always a pain in the butt cleaning everything up and hay, and now I've got 4 or 5 of them, and you know, we only need one. I also like to use these pitchforks in the bonfire. Makes it really easy. Next up is a good wheelbarrow. You know, we've been through at least 5 or 6 different wheelbarrows over the years, the last 5 years, and finally the missus likes this one the most. She uses it for hauling hay out to our farthest stall for the male goats, and it's got these big tires on them, big like almost bicycle tires, fairly lightweight, but it's got a very good balance to it. It's easy for her to haul. She can get through, I don't know, at least 8 to 12 inches of snow with this thing without it being a huge hassle, and it holds a lot, you know. And like I said, with the center of gravity being where it is, you can fill it up quite a bit, and it's still fairly easy to pick up. These Rubbermaid ones, you know, we got this at an auction for a lot less than what they go for at the store. So, you know, keep your eye out for deals, check Marketplace, that kind of stuff. I very, very rarely pay full price for anything because I find them at auctions or Marketplace. You can get something like this for less than $100, and I'm telling you, it sounds like a lot, but it is so worth it having a good, you know, dealing with the single traditional wheelbarrow when you're moving hay or dirt or rocks or garden stuff or whatever. It just gets cumbersome and old really quick, and those are really tough to, at least for us, to push through snow or dirt or mud. Sure, on you know, hard pack or gravel or the driveway, you know, if it's, you know, especially concrete or something, those are easy. But you know, going through, you know, a homestead, you know, you got uneven terrain everywhere, the garden, you know, so something like this is definitely worth the money, and it's invaluable. All right, moving on to our last 3 items here. Staple guns. It sounds ridiculous, but we use these all the time, whether it's tarping something, putting up plastic sheathing on, like we cover up our rabbit cages, you know, because they're just screened in. So in the wintertime, we just put plastic sheathing over the edges, the vertical edges. We leave the bottom screen open so they still get airflow, and they can, you know, their droppings can go through and all that. But all the time, grabbing staple guns, you know, it's amazing how often you need them. This DeWalt hammer stapler, I love this thing. When I was working on the barn here, holy crap, did this save me some time. And then if you're putting up no trespassing signs, this is all you need. You know, it's fantastic. So definitely need a staple gun. Next, chainsaw. All right, some people would argue, and that's fine, but some people would say an axe rather than a chainsaw. Me, I love my chainsaw. All right, you know, tree falls over the driveway, bucking firewood, lemon trees, you name it. This is what I go to 90% of the time. The axe, you know, I have a couple, sure. And I do use them, especially when I'm, getting in, I won't put this bar and chain in the dirt. So if I'm, pulling up roots or something, I'll swing the axe into the dirt, and I'll sharpen it when I'm done with it. This I won't stick in the dirt, but this gets used way more than the axe. And it's not one of those things you use every day, but it's one of those things that when you do need it, holy crap, nothing. I mean, sure, we have trees bordering our driveway, and I've had trees fall over the driveway, especially these poplars. They grow fast and they die fast and they just bloop right over, right? So, I had it a couple times where, oh crap, there's a tree over the driveway. We got to get out in the morning, take the kid to the school bus. I just run and grab this guy, go out there, whack it down in a couple of spots, throw it up back in the woods, and it's done. If I didn't have this, I'd be out there with a bow saw or an axe for who knows how long. And sure, old school, if you can't get gasoline, sure, there's a million different ways to look at it. But for the purposes and intention of this video, I'm saying a chainsaw in my top 10. And last but definitely not least is home protection, all right? If you're out like we are in the middle of nowhere, even though I don't expect anything, as a matter of fact, this is a pretty safe part of the country, generally speaking. We live kind of out in the middle of nowhere, but that doesn't mean I don't think about it. I think about, if I'm not here or if somebody does show up here, you need home protection, whether it's a pistol, an AR, a shotgun. Honestly, there's been a lot of studies done where a BB gun and a .22 are just as effective, because the way the thieves look at it, or burglars or whatever, if anything threatens them, they turn and run. It's more of a mental state where if they're actually determined and they're willing to walk through fire to get there, it doesn't matter what gun you're using shooting at them, because they're going to keep coming, right? It doesn't matter if they get hit with a .22 or a .45 or an AR, it doesn't matter. They're going to keep going, right? If they're willing to take a bullet, they're going to keep going. But if they're not willing to take a bullet, it doesn't matter if it's a BB, a pellet, a .22, a .38, it doesn't matter what it is, they're going to turn around and run. So, honestly, a .22 pistol, .22 rifle, that was the first gun I ever owned. I still have it. I still plink with it, and it's a great little gun, and I've shown the family how to use it. Obviously you need to take safety precautions with children and so on and so forth. But to me, it's a vital necessity when you're out here. Even taking care of varmint, or a lame animal, you're just are you gonna go out there and with your hands break its neck? Are you gonna call somebody every time? That's not what homesteading's about. Homesteading's about you doing what you need to do, right? But then there's hunting, I thought about bringing out an old lever action 30-30. That is a great all-around gun. You can use it for hunting, for home defense, for target practice, all sorts of things. They're easy to use, easy to load. They're not very expensive. So if anybody would like a deeper discussion on that, please just throw it in the little box down below, and I'll write something up, and I can put out a few here and we can go over it. Although YouTube is probably going to flag this just because of that right there. So I don't know if we'd actually get to that. Well, there you have it. That's my top 10 list of absolute must-have tools for around the homestead, or at least starting a homestead. Obviously, as you go forward in your homesteading journey, there's a lot of other things that you're going to say, oh, I need that. I wish I had that, like a tractor, or who knows. There's a million other things that are great to have, nice to have, awesome to have, that kind of stuff. But what I went through today is a very good starting point. This will get you through most situations. If you're splitting wood, you are going to have a splitting awl or a splitting axe, something along those lines, or a wood splitter. So yes, there are other things, but just getting started, assuming you're not heating with wood, or you have split wood delivered, the axe is kind of set aside. What we went over today, we'll do gardening and landscaping and taking care of the homestead, minor fixes and repairs here and there, and home protection and defense. Yeah, so if you got anything else that you think should be on this list, please put it down in the comment section, and I'll be happy to go over it, or at least share it with everybody else. If this helped out, please like and subscribe. Trying to grow the channel here, so appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next video.